Suddenly you're sleeping.
Shocking CNN report reveals devastating impact of Iranian strikes on U.S. bases amid war claims.
Well, isn't that just a bowl of cherries? Here we are, hoping for a peaceful afternoon, and CNN decides to drop a bombshell that makes the 4th of July look like a birthday party for a 5-year-old. Iranian strikes have turned U.S. bases into what can only be described as a modern-day version of a piñata. Except instead of candy, we've got chaos and geopolitical tension. And let's not forget Trump claiming the war has ended. It's like saying the party is over just because you turned off the lights. Spoiler alert, the hangover still exists.
What kind of damage are we talking about here?
Oh, just your typical oops, we accidentally turned your base into a new tourist attraction for demolition enthusiasts. We're talking about some serious collateral damage here. Makes a toddler's tantrum look like a gentle breeze. It's like trying to park a compact car in a space meant for a semi-truck, and then you end up with a wreck that even a junkyard wouldn't touch. If they wanted to make a statement, they achieved it. Because nothing says, "We mean business," like blowing up a few $1 million worth of military equipment.
What does this mean for the U.S. military strategy moving forward?
The age-old question of military strategy. It's like asking a cat to learn how to swim. The reality is, they have to rethink their game plan like a chef who's just discovered they forgot to put sugar in the cake. Are they going to double down and act like everything's fine? Or are they going to admit that maybe, just maybe, they've bitten off more than they can chew? It's like when you plan a camping trip and forget to bring the tent. Suddenly you're sleeping under the stars, hoping the weather doesn't turn sour.
And what about those claims of the war being over?
Yes, the classic mission accomplished moment. It's amusing, really, because declaring the war over is like saying you're done with a buffet after only eating the salad. Sure, you might have made a dent, but let's not fool ourselves into thinking that the main course isn't still waiting. It's akin to putting a closed sign on a restaurant while the kitchen is still on fire. Things are clearly still cooking, just not the way you'd like.
In light of this, how should the public react?
Oh, sure, because the public reaction is usually a well-orchestrated symphony of rational thought, right? Let's face it. It's more like a chaotic mosh pit at a rock concert. Some will panic like they just found out the store is out of toilet paper, while others might just throw their hands up and say, "What else is new?" It's like watching a reality show where everyone pretends to be shocked every season, despite the fact that we've been on this roller coaster for years. Welcome to the news cycle, my friend, where shock value is the name of the game.
So Peru recently signed a $1 billion deal with Lockheed Martin for 12 advanced F-16 fighters. What's going on here?
Yes. Peru is clearly stepping up its game in the military department. I mean, who wouldn't want to throw $1 billion at shiny flying machines? It's like upgrading from a bicycle to a Ferrari, but instead of pedaling uphill, you're now soaring over the Andes. With these F-16s, I'm sure the Peruvian military is thinking, finally, we can join the ranks of 29 other countries that also have F-16s. Because nothing screams world power like having a fancy jet that literally 2,800 other jets have already flown in circles around. Just imagine the coffee breaks in the pilot's lounge. "Hey, do you have the latest F-16 model? Oh, you still have the old one?"
What exactly are these F-16s going to do for Peru's defense?
Well, let's see. They're probably planning to use these F-16s for a range of things, such as dramatic flybys at parades and scaring seagulls away from their coastlines. But realistically, it's about modernizing their defense capabilities. Think of it as giving their military the equivalent of a smartphone upgrade, while the rest of the world is already on the latest model. I mean, nothing says we mean business like having a jet capable of reaching supersonic speeds while also having Wi-Fi. Who wouldn't want to swipe right on that?
How does this investment in F-16s compare to other military spending around the world?
Oh, it's like comparing apples to oranges. If those apples were cocky and had jet engines. The global military spending spree is a sight to behold. While Peru's dropping a cool billion for some F-16s, other countries are out here competing for most extravagant military upgrade awards. You've got nations that spend more on their military than I'll probably make in my lifetime, and here's little Peru trying to play in the big leagues. It's like showing up to an arms race in a Tesla, while others are rolling around in tanks decorated with gold leaf. But hey, at least Peru is in the game now.
What are the potential implications of Peru's military modernization?
The implications. That's when things get spicy. On one hand, you have Peru feeling like they just bought a VIP pass to the military superhero club. But on the other hand, it's like waving a big shiny stick at a beehive. Other countries in the region might look at that and think, well, they have jets, maybe we should get some too. Next thing you know, we've got a regional arms race hotter than a jalapeno pepper on a summer's day. And let's not forget about diplomatic relations. It's like sending an invitation to a party that nobody wanted to attend. Some countries might not be too thrilled about their neighbor getting all decked out with the latest jets, while they're still trying to fix the holes in their own fences.
Is it necessary for Peru to have such advanced fighter jets?
Necessary? That's a loaded question, much like trying to fit all those jets into a tiny hangar. I mean, sure, having advanced fighter jets might sound super tactical and essential, but let's be real. If there's a llama crossing the road, what's a fighter jet going to do? Make it feel very, very anxious? There's something to be said about having deterrence, but at the same time, you don't need a nuclear submarine if you're just trying to catch dinner. Sometimes a good fishing rod works just as well. But then again, I'm sure the decision makers in Peru are sitting down, sipping their cafe, and thinking, yes, let's look intimidating with our awesome jets. That's how we'll keep the peace.
Any final thoughts on Peru's deal with Lockheed Martin?
Final thoughts? Buckle up, folks. This deal is like putting a cherry on top of a military sundae. It's both thrilling and a little bit scary. Peru is clearly ready to flex its muscle in the region, even if that means investing in some spectacular flyboys with jet fuel bills that could make your head spin. I can just picture it. Maintenance crews running around in a perpetual state of chaos, keeping those jets in the air while the rest of us watch and think, how on earth do we get invited to that air show? So, here's to Peru. May their jets be fast, their pilots fearless, and their coffee strong to handle all the stress.
So, I hear the Iranian IRGC fast attack boats are out there, patrolling the Strait of Hormuz. What's the scoop on that?
Yes, the IRGC fast attack boats, or as I like to call them, the aquatic version of angry hornets. They're buzzing around the Strait of Hormuz like they've just had 5 espressos, and their leader forgot to set the GPS. The satellite imagery is so low-res that it looks like a grainy VHS tape from the 80s, and yet here we are, on the edge of our seats, wondering if they're practicing their synchronized swimming routine, or just looking for a good spot to park their boats. Tensions are high, and I wouldn't be surprised if someone accidentally triggers a global game of who's the best at not starting World War III.
What does this mean for global tensions, really?
Well, if you thought your family dinners were tense, you haven't seen anything yet. Global tensions are spiking like my blood pressure when I can't find my TV remote. With Iran's fast attack boats patrolling, it's like they're trying to play naval tag with the entire world. Everyone's on high alert, trying to figure out if they're going to play Dare You to Come Closer, or Let's Keep It Cool, and avoid the disaster movie plot. It just goes to show, one moment you're sipping your coffee in peace, and the next you're caught in a geopolitical reality show called Who Will Sink First? Spoiler alert, it's usually not the boats.
Do you think this situation could escalate into something bigger?
Oh, absolutely. It's like a game of Jenga, and every time someone removes a piece, you're just waiting for that dramatic crash. Only in this case, the pieces are international relationships, and the crashing sound might be the collective sigh of relief when we find out that everyone involved actually prefers to keep it at friendly disagreement. With tensions rising, it's like watching a high-stakes poker game, where no one has any idea what the stakes actually are, but everyone's bluffing like they could scare a toddler. So, sure, it could escalate, but then again, this is the same world where cats are considered internet celebrities, so who knows?
What are the chances this could impact oil prices?
Oh, you can bet your last donut that oil prices are going to react faster than a kid at a candy store. Whenever someone farts in the Strait of Hormuz, oil prices do this dramatic roller coaster ride that would make even the bravest hearts turn pale. Analysts will be rushing around like they're on a scavenger hunt, trying to predict how many puffs of tension it takes to inflate a barrel of crude. It's sort of like trying to figure out how much you can charge your friends for snacks at movie night without them realizing they actually can just go to the store. So, buckle up, because if those boats decide to play bumper cars, we could all be paying more at the pump while pretending like we understand geopolitics over brunch.
What's the takeaway for average folks who are just trying to live their lives?
The takeaway? Well, just keep your heads down and your snacks stocked, like a squirrel preparing for winter. While the world leaders are busy playing chess with fast boats, the rest of us are just here, trying to figure out if we can afford avocados this week. It's all about finding that delicate balance between being informed and not spiraling into a panic. Remember, the only thing you should take seriously is your coffee order. The rest is just part of today's geopolitical circus, where the only guaranteed act is the clowns showing up to make things a bit messier. So, carry on, stay hydrated, and maybe pick up some extra popcorn for the show.
Is there anything we should watch out for in the news regarding this situation?
Oh, absolutely. The news is going to be buzzing like a bee in a flower shop, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Keep an eye out for headlines that sound like they were crafted by someone who just got a degree in hyperbole. They'll start with phrases like UN condemns or world leaders call for calm, classic signs that things are heating up faster than a microwave burrito. And let's not forget the social media drama. It's going to be like watching a reality TV show, where the plot twist is that everyone is trying to sound like they actually know what they're talking about. So grab your popcorn, put on your "I'm not worried" expression, and enjoy the spectacle while quietly updating your world events bingo card.
So, the White House has just released a whole hour of Trump saying winning. What's going on here?
Ah yes, nothing screams national priority like a solid hour of Trump declaring winning, as if that phrase alone can turn the economy around or fix world peace. I mean, why bother with boring things like policy discussions or bipartisan cooperation when you can just have a one-man motivational seminar? Honestly, it's like watching a toddler discover their reflection and just keep saying, "I'm the best," over and over, while we all awkwardly clap in the background.
Do you think this was a strategic move or just a bizarre publicity stunt?
Well, if it's a strategy, then it's the culinary equivalent of serving a single plate of spaghetti at a gourmet Italian restaurant and calling it a multi-course meal. This has all the finesse of a bull in a china shop. It's like saying, hey, forget about infrastructure or healthcare. Let's just binge watch Trump's personal highlights. Clearly, someone in the White House thought, let's give America something really important to discuss at the Thanksgiving dinner table. Because nothing says family bonding like awkward silences after bringing up politics.
How does the public usually react to these kinds of media from the administration?
Oh, it's always a mixed bag. You've got your die-hard fans who would buy a ticket to a Trump theme park if that were ever actually a thing, and then there's the rest of us who are just shaking our heads and wondering how we ended up on the wrong side of a bizarre reality show. You could say it's like being stuck on a roller coaster that keeps going up and down, but never seems to get anywhere. You just hold on and pray for it to end, while occasionally laughing at the absurdity of it all.
What's the potential impact of this on public perception?
Oh, it's going to be huge. It's like putting a fresh coat of paint on a rickety old car. Everyone can see that it still doesn't run well, but hey, at least it looks shiny. Some people will lap it up like it's the holy grail of presidential communication, while others will roll their eyes so hard they risk a full-on eyeball workout. It's basically a way to distract us from the more important stuff, like whether we should be using reusable straws or fighting climate change. But sure, let's keep celebrating our winning mentality while the real issues gather dust in the corner.
What do you think the message is behind looping that phrase?
The message? Oh, it's crystal clear. It's like a motivational poster that was hastily slapped together during a coffee break. Basically, the White House is saying, look folks, we're winning. At least that's what we're telling everyone. It's like when your friend insists they've got their life together while still living in their parents' basement. It's all about perception. Let's just ignore the actual scoreboard and focus on this endless loop of triumph. Who needs facts when we have a catchy catchphrase on repeat?
Is this a reflection of Trump's personality or the current political climate?
Oh, it's definitely both. It's like a perfect storm of a personality that thrives on cheers and applause, combined with a political climate that's hotter than a sauna in July. Trump is the human equivalent of a motivational poster gone rogue, thriving in a world where sensationalism often wins out over substance. It's a match made in reality TV heaven. Honestly, if we could harness the energy from all this utter madness, we could probably power the whole country, or at least keep the lights on in some very confused households.
So, we heard about this dramatic drone strike in Kryvyi Rog. What's the latest buzz around this incident?
Oh, just your typical Tuesday in Ukraine. I mean, who doesn't like a little light warfare in the morning? It's like a cup of coffee, but instead of a caffeine buzz, you get a drone strike. The tensions are escalating faster than my Aunt Edna at a bingo game when she thinks someone's cheating. It's an intense situation that makes you wonder if drones are the new pigeons, just dropping bombs instead of breadcrumbs.
What are the implications of these strikes on the ongoing conflict?
Implications? Oh, they're as plentiful as my excuses for skipping the gym. It's like adding fuel to an already raging bonfire. You just end up with more flames and a lot of singed eyebrows. This situation is like playing chess with a toddler. Every move is unpredictable, and you just hope to keep your pieces intact before they accidentally knock the board over. In short, it complicates peace negotiations and makes diplomatic dinners about as appetizing as leftover meatloaf.
Is there any response from the international community?
Ah yes, the international community, also known as the group chat you wish you could mute. They're probably sending strongly worded letters like it's high school all over again. Dear Russia, please stop dropping bombs. Sincerely, the rest of us. Meanwhile, they're all sitting around wondering if saying please has lost its punch. It's like a game of international poker, but everyone's bluffing, and we're not sure who has the best hand or if anyone even knows how to play.
How does this affect the civilians in the region?
Oh, just splendidly. Imagine trying to enjoy your morning coffee while drones are buzzing overhead like a swarm of angry bees. Civilians have to play a game of dodgeball with actual explosives, and let me tell you, that is not what anyone signed up for. It turns their lives into a dystopian film that nobody asked to star in. If The Hunger Games had a sequel, I'm pretty sure it would be set in Krivoy Rog right about now.
What can we expect in the near future regarding this conflict?
Expect? Oh, I expect to see more surprises than a magician at a children's party. Every week seems to come with a new act, and not the fun kind. We might see more drone strikes, more back-and-forth blame games, and probably a new hashtag trending that will make us all roll our eyes. It's as if the situation is a soap opera, and we are all unwitting viewers waiting for the next cliffhanger. Will there be peace? Will someone finally put the drones to bed? Stay tuned for the next episode of As the World Turns into Chaos.
So, what's the latest scoop on Mali and those radical militants?
The latest scoop is like a bad reality show, where the characters just can't seem to catch a break. It turns out that the radicals, after some dramatic fanfare about their May offensive, are now facing a reality check that's harder than finding Wi-Fi in the Sahara. Mali's forces are launching counterattacks like they're throwing a surprise party for militants, minus the cake and with way more grenades. The only thing the radicals managed to escort was a bunch of government forces making a tactical getaway, which feels less like a grand victory and more like winning a gold star for showing up.
What about the fighting along the Niger River? Any updates there?
Oh, the Niger River Valley is like a game of hide and seek, but with much higher stakes and fewer snacks. Mali's armed forces and their African Corps buddies are patrolling like they've got nothing but time on their hands, ambushing the militants with the finesse of a cat, pouncing on a laser pointer dot. And the militants? They tried to take Gormararis again, but it went about as well as a cat trying to swim, a lot of flailing, and an eventual retreat. I mean, they left their weapons behind, which is either a strategic blunder or just a really bad yard sale.
And the airstrikes? Are they ramping up?
Oh, you bet they are. The airstrikes have increased so much lately, it's like the Mali's armed forces decided to throw a bombs-away party. They've been taking out field camps and supply bases around Bamako, with the precision of a toddler aiming a water gun. It's so effective that if the radicals were a bakery, they'd be in the business of crumbling pastries rather than capturing territory. Let's just say their plans to destabilize the capital have been about as successful as trying to teach a goldfish to ride a bike, thrilling to watch, but ultimately a flop.
What's the overall situation for the militants now?
The overall situation for the militants could be summarized as wishful thinking meets harsh reality. Their so-called global offensive has basically been put on ice, like a bad Netflix series that gets cancelled after one season. They've not lost mass territory, which is nice of them to share, but they're definitely not winning any popularity contests. It must be frustrating to have plans so grand that they end up looking like a toddler's finger painting. Chaotic and all over the place, but somehow still sticking around.
And how about the cooperation with Russian servicemen?
The Russians are there, mingling around like they're at a cocktail party, strategically maneuvering and looking sharp. They've been working with Mali's general staff, making sure their forces are less likely to get encircled than a cat in a room full of vacuum cleaners. It's all about concentration and counterattacks, which sounds a lot more like a high-stakes chess game than an actual battlefield, minus the checkmate, and with more smoke and explosions. I guess you could say the Russians are handling things with the kind of finesse that makes you reconsider your own organizational skills.
So, what can we expect next in this ongoing saga?
What can we expect? Well, if this were a soap opera, I'd say expect more plot twists than you can shake a stick at. The militants will probably regroup and try again, because persistence is key, right? Meanwhile, Molly's forces will continue countering, like they're in a video game and it's the final boss level. One can only hope they have enough lives left to keep playing. Ultimately, this ongoing saga will likely unfold like a soap opera with dramatic reveals, shocking betrayals, and perhaps even a surprise guest appearance from a stray cat or two. Let's grab the popcorn and see who's still standing after the next round.
So, Christopher Helali has this gripping message for American families after experiencing the tragedy of missile strikes. What's the essence of his message?
Well, it's all fun and games until someone loses an entire family to a missile strike. Helali's basically turning his trauma into a PowerPoint presentation for America, complete with shrapnel souvenirs. His message is something like, "Hey America, you might want to check your values, because if you think your groceries are too expensive, just wait until you see the price of this human suffering." I mean, in a world where influencers make millions off avocado toast, Helali's trying to remind us that some people are literally dodging missiles, like they're the latest TikTok dance challenge.
How does Helali's story resonate with the American public? Do you think they can relate?
Oh, absolutely. It's like trying to relate to a sitcom character whose biggest problem is finding parking. We've got our own issues, right? Rising gas prices, existential dread, and the never-ending quest for Wi-Fi. Meanwhile, Helali's out here with a shrapnel collection that would make a bad museum exhibit. It's a tough sell, but you can't help but think, wow, my 10-minute wait at Starbucks pales in comparison to dodging death from the skies. It's like comparing a flat tire to an asteroid hitting Earth. One's annoying, and the other is a great way to ruin your day.
What are some ways Helly's experience could influence American foreign policy?
Well, if Helali were put in charge, I imagine foreign policy meetings would look a lot more like therapy sessions. Let's all sit in a circle and share our feelings about missiles and refugees. But realistically, who wants to listen to a guy holding shrapnel? The politicians would be like, "Thanks for the reminder, Christopher. Now can we get back to talking about tariffs and corn subsidies?" So yeah, his experience might add an emotional touch. But honestly, there's a greater chance of my cat running for president than the US actually rethinking its foreign policy because of one heart-wrenching story.
What do you think is the biggest takeaway from Helali's message that American families should hear?
I'd say the biggest takeaway is that life can take a turn faster than a teenager on a skateboard. One minute you're planning a nice dinner, and the next, you're dodging missiles like they're rogue soccer balls at a family barbecue. Helali might want to remind us that, while we're busy complaining about our Wi-Fi speed, there are folks who can't even complain about dinner, because their dinner got blown up. So, the real kicker is, maybe we should just take a moment to appreciate our mundane lives before we're put on a roller coaster of chaos and destruction.
How do you think the American media will react to Helali's message?
Oh, you know how it goes. The media will treat it like the hottest new gossip. Like, did you hear about the latest celebrity breakup? But instead of tearful confessions, we're getting an emotional roller coaster about missile strikes. I can already see the headlines. Local man shares tragic story amidst the latest influencer scandal. it'll probably get a 5-minute segment on the news before they pivot back to the weather, which, I can assure you, is far less tragic. So, grab your popcorn, because it'll be a breaking news special that ends up feeling more like filler than a heartfelt takeaway.
In your opinion, what kind of public response should we expect from Halali's story?
Oh, you can bet it'll be as mixed as a buffet plate at a family reunion. We'll have some people saying, "This is a wake-up call," while others will be like, "Yeah, but did you see what Kim Kardashian wore last night? It's like trying to convince a toddler to eat their vegetables." Some will shout, "Let's make a change." And others will just scroll through Instagram. The most structured response will probably be an online petition that nobody will actually follow through on. Because, hey, it's hard to focus on global issues when you're trying to remember your Netflix password.
So, I hear the Indonesian F-16s had a little demolition derby with a decommissioned warship. How did that go?
Well, when you let fighter jets take part in a game of target practice with a decommissioned warship, it's basically like giving a toddler a sledgehammer and saying, "Go have some fun." I mean, who knew the Indonesian Air Force was secretly training for a future in reality TV? Survivor, Naval Edition, where the only rule is blow it up and don't look back. Not to mention, who wouldn't want to watch a 30-year-old warship get blown to smithereens like it owes the Air Force money?
What do you think led to this maritime mayhem during their training exercise?
Well, you see, sometimes nations get together and decide that instead of boring drills, they want to spice things up a bit. It's like saying, why just practice when we can also have a barbecue? Nothing says team bonding quite like obliterating a rusty old ship. It's practically a rite of passage in military training. After all, who wouldn't want to walk away from an exercise thinking, wow, we really showed that hunk of metal who's boss? It's not just training, it's a therapy session with bombs.
Did the Indonesian military have any concerns about the risks involved?
Oh sure, they probably had a moment of concern right at the start, like the awkward silence before a roller coaster launch. But then again, what's the worst that could happen? A little friendly fire. Just kidding, it's all fun and games until someone loses their warship. But you know, in the grand scheme of things, who hasn't wanted to turn a floating relic into modern art? They probably thought, well, if it sinks, at least we'll create a new reef. The ultimate 2-for-1 deal. Training and marine life conservation.
How do these live fire drills help the Indonesian military?
Live fire drills are like giving military personnel the ultimate thrill ride, minus the safety harness. It's where they get to flex their military muscle, show off their skills, and blow stuff up. It's the trifecta of military excellence. And let's be real, there's nothing like watching a bomb drop to really get the adrenaline pumping. It's like the world's most dangerous game of whack-a-mole. But instead of a cute little mole, you've got a decommissioned warship, and instead of a mallet, you've got an F-16. It's practically a rite of passage.
What does this mean for military relations in the region?
Well, if there was a contest for the most explosive show of friendship, I'd say Indonesia just won gold. Forget diplomacy. Who needs handshakes when you can have bomb drops? It sends a message that military cooperation can be both effective and slightly destructive. Who knew you could strengthen alliances with pyrotechnics? Watching those jets rain down destruction on that ship is like saying, we're friends, and we love to blow things up together. Nothing builds camaraderie quite like shared explosions.
What's next for the Indonesian Air Force after this impressive display?
I mean, after turning a ship into a pile of floating debris, they might just decide that a new hobby is in order. Maybe they'll take up skywriting, Or start a new trend called jet yoga. Because who wouldn't want to see fighter jets performing downward dog? The possibilities are endless, but in all seriousness, they'll probably just keep building on their explosive success, maybe even plan for real-life scenarios, or who knows, maybe they'll aim for a reality TV show. Keeping Up with the Jets. Explosive Edition. I'd watch that.
So, Texas residents are suing Elon Musk's SpaceX over the Starship launches damaging their homes. What's the scoop on that?
Ah, yes. Because nothing says welcome to your suburban dream quite like the occasional sonic boom rattling your windows. I mean, who wouldn't want to enjoy a Starship launch as part of their morning coffee routine? Honey, did you hear that? Oh, it's just Elon sending another rocket to Mars. No biggie. But apparently, the residents thought differently. They're claiming SpaceX knew about the risks but launched anyway. Kind of like a toddler running through a house full of breakables. Oops, my bad. Sounds a lot different when your living room becomes a launch pad.
What kind of damages are the residents claiming?
Well, the residents aren't just looking for some sympathy. They're all about that dollar sign. They want compensation for noise, vibrations, and of course, their quality of life. I mean, who wouldn't mind a bit of space debris enriching their backyard, right? Their homes have turned into vibrating massage parlors. And not the fun kind. Can you imagine calling the insurance company? Yeah. My house is shaking like a maraca at a salsa party, and I'm not sure if I should be worried or just ride the wave.
Is Elon Musk known for ignoring risks when launching projects like this?
Oh, absolutely. He's practically the poster child for leap before you look. It's like he's playing a giant game of Gen with rockets and human safety. I mean, sure, launching a rocket is thrilling and all, but not everyone wants their house to double as a launch site. The man has more projects than I have socks. One minute you're building electric cars, the next you're launching a rocket, and before you know it, your neighbors are filing lawsuits. Could we get a little less Iron Man and a bit more responsible adult, please?
What are the locals saying about the situation?
Well, you can imagine the locals are not thrilled. It's like finding out that your quiet neighborhood has turned into the set of an action movie, minus the cool stunts and with all the annoying explosions. They're expressing their concerns through legal channels, which is their way of saying, thanks for the memsies, Elon, but we prefer to keep our ceilings intact. You can almost hear them saying, look, we love Texas and everything, but could we keep the starships in the sky and out of our backyard barbecues, please?
How does this case reflect on SpaceX's treatment of communities?
Oh, it's like having a giant, eccentric uncle who shows up to family gatherings with a fireworks show. Everyone's entertained until someone loses an eyebrow. SpaceX is in that awkward phase where they're trying to be the cool kids on the block, while also rubbing some residents the wrong way. It's like building a castle with moats, but forgetting the no cannon fire rule. They may need to sit down with the locals and discuss some ground rules. Like, maybe no rocket launches on Taco Tuesdays? Just a thought.
What do you think is going to happen next?
Well, if history teaches us anything, this will probably lead to a settlement that's as messy as a toddler's art project. SpaceX might throw a few bucks at the residents to calm the noise, literally and metaphorically. Or, they could do what every tech giant does, throw up some PR spin and hope everyone forgets by next month. The real kicker? If we see more launches, let's all just pray that the next rocket doesn't take a detour and land in the local grocery store's parking lot. That would be quite the buy one, get one free offer.
So, Hungary's new Prime Minister Péter Magyar is under fire for appointing his brother-in-law as Justice Minister. What do you make of this nepotism controversy?
Ah, yes, nepotism. The age-old tradition of handing out jobs like candy at a birthday party. It's almost as if Peter Magyar believes that meritocracy is just a fancy word for who you know. I mean, why hire someone with actual legal expertise when you can just pick your relative? It's like saying, forget the job market, I'd rather keep it all in the family. And let's not even get started on his defense about expertise and commitment. Sure, it's hard to argue against familial bonds when you're sipping coffee at the family reunion, but I wonder if this expert would get the job if his last name was Smith instead of Meletai Barna.
How do you think this will affect Magyar's campaign promise to clean up public life?
Oh, it's going to have all the subtlety of a bull in a china shop, let me tell you. He's trying to play the superhero with a cape, but here he is, dragging a sidekick who just happens to have the same last name as his wife into the mix. It's simply tragicomic. You see, when you're out there promising transparency and accountability, appointing your brother-in-law is like trying to sell ice in Antarctica. People might just look at you and say, "Really? This is what you meant by cleaning up?" It's like filling a swimming pool with spaghetti and calling it a food fight.
What's your take on Magyar's decision to suspend his sister-in-law's judicial duties to sidestep conflicts of interest?
Oh, that's a classic. It's like putting a band-aid on a bullet wound and hoping no one notices. So his sister-in-law is temporarily stepping away, but let's be real, how does that solve anything? It's like saying, I'm not a thief, I just borrowed the money, indefinitely. It's almost as if he thinks that by putting a sign that says, nothing to see here, will truly convince everyone. Spoiler alert, it doesn't. It's like trying to hide the smell of a 3-day-old fish with just a spritz of air freshener.
Do you think the backlash will have a long-term impact on his government?
Long-term impact? Oh, absolutely. Like a stubborn stain on a shirt that refuses to wash out. People don't forget when they smell nepotism, and the stink can linger longer than a bad cologne. This isn't just a hiccup. It's more like being caught in a tornado while holding a dandelion. And let's face it, every time he tries to talk about reforms, someone is bound to shout, "What about your brother-in-law?" It's a classic case of, keep your enemies closer but your relatives closer. And who wants to be remembered for that?
What do you think made Magyar think it was a good idea to appoint his brother-in-law?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's like deciding to paint your house bright pink and expecting neighbors to compliment your unique taste. Maybe he thought, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, family gatherings are all about discussing the weather, right? It takes a special kind of confidence, or perhaps a complete lack of self-awareness, to believe this would work out in his favor. It's as if he rolled the dice on a game of political monopoly and landed on go directly to jail, but just decided to keep playing anyway.
Finally, what would you advise Magyar to do next?
Well, if I were in his shoes, I would consider a strategic retreat, like a general who realizes he's accidentally invaded the wrong country. Time to hit the refresh button, maybe apologize, throw in a few genuine appointments that make people go, whoa, he's serious about this. Then, just to be safe, perhaps send the family on a nice long vacation to somewhere far away like Mars. The last thing he needs is to live under the constant shadow of familial appointments for his entire term. Because nothing says trust like a government powered by family ties.
So, the White House is considering military options against Cuba but is leaning towards diplomacy. What's going on here?
Ah, the classic diplomatic tango. It's like watching two clumsy dancers attempting to trip over each other without stepping on toes. The White House thinks about military options like I think about running a marathon. Intimidating yet refreshing to consider, But really, I'd rather lounge on the couch with a tub of ice cream. They're trying to put pressure on Cuba, but apparently, that pressure is just a gentle nudge rather than a full-on shove into a wrestling ring. So, here we are, blending diplomacy with a dash of military bravado, because nothing says, let's have a civilized chat, like the thought of sending in the troops.
What does this shift to diplomacy really mean for US-Cuba relations?
Well, it's like trying to fix a leaky faucet by throwing a bucket underneath it. You might catch some of the drips, but good luck with the actual problem. The US government wants to charm Cuba into submission, sort of like trying to win over a stubborn cat with treats. But let's face it, Cuba's been around for decades, and they're not exactly going to roll over just because Uncle Sam offers them a slice of pumpkin pie. It's a complicated relationship, kind of like that on-again, off-again fling that never truly ends. Lots of tension, and everyone's not sure if they can handle it without overreacting.
What might it take for the US to actually shift from diplomacy to military action?
Oh, just a little something like a roast pig in the middle of a backyard barbecue gone horribly wrong. Military action is like the last place option in a game of Twister. Everyone is kind of hoping to avoid it. The US wouldn't dive into military action unless Cuba starts throwing grenades like confetti at a birthday party. Until then, they'll keep hoping that a few diplomatic niceties and economic sanctions will turn the tide. Although I suspect that Cuba is just watching from afar, sipping on a mojito and not particularly impressed.
Is there a precedent for this kind of situation? How has it worked out before?
Oh, absolutely. Historically, it's tried to bake a cake with no recipe. Some people end up with a delicious masterpiece, and others, well, they get cake batter exploding in their faces. Just look at previous US interventions. Sometimes they lead to transformations and other times they spiral into disaster quicker than my New Year's resolutions. It's like asking a toddler to paint a masterpiece. You might get a Van Gogh or a splatter of chaos, and I suspect the US is hoping for the former while bracing for the reality of the latter.
What are the risks of pursuing military options, even with a focus on diplomacy?
Oh, just the usual risks, like trying to jump into a pool full of sharks while wearing a meat suit. The US might think they're just flexing their muscles with a few military options on the table. But in reality, it risks escalating tensions that could lead to a full-blown geopolitical game of chicken. Nobody wants to be the person who accidentally sends the world spiraling into chaos because they mistook a diplomatic brief for a war cry. There's always the chance someone misinterprets a naval exercise as, "Hey, we're coming to get you," and poof, just like that, we've got ourselves an international incident, probably with popcorn involved.
What should the public be paying attention to in this developing story?
Oh, just the usual drama and intrigue, like a soap opera but with less crying and more complicated terminology. The public should keep their eyes peeled for the breaking news alerts, like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. Watch for how the situation evolves. If Cuba starts to retaliate, you can bet it will be the kind of reality show that puts The Bachelor to shame. And don't forget to check out the experts weighing in, because there's nothing more entertaining than watching political analysts try to make sense of it all while keeping a straight face. Grab your popcorn, folks. This is going to be a wild ride.
So, Spirit Airlines has shut down its operations nationwide, leaving a lot of passengers stranded. What's the real story here?
Ah, yes, Spirit Airlines has decided to pull a Houdini and vanish into thin air, leaving its passengers stranded like socks in a dryer. Apparently, they thought that a $500 million federal bailout was the magic ticket to survival. But turns out, that ticket was just a coupon for a one-way trip to bankruptcy. They claim rising fuel costs did them in, because who knew that flying was as expensive as trying to buy a mansion in Silicon Valley? So here we are, with passengers wandering around airports, looking for their spirit. Spoiler alert, it's not coming back.
What do you think this says about the airline industry as a whole?
Well, if the airline industry was a game of musical chairs, right now it looks like Spirit Airlines just knocked over the whole stack and stormed out. It's a bit like watching a soap opera where every episode ends with a cliffhanger. Will the airlines survive? Will they merge? Will they go bankrupt? Either way, passengers are the ones sitting on the sidelines, clutching their boarding passes like it's a lottery ticket. So it's safe to say that not all flights are created equal, especially when they're just a figment of our frugal imaginations.
How are passengers reacting to this sudden shutdown?
Oh, you can imagine the scene at airports. It's like a reality show where everyone forgot their lines, and the camera crew went on break. You've got travelers pacing back and forth, clutching their bags as if they're about to go on a quest to find the Holy Grail. Some are probably trying to barter with the airport staff, offering their last pack of gum for a flight out. Social media? It's exploding with memes and heartfelt complaints that could rival Shakespearean tragedies. I mean, who knew that being stranded at an airport could get you more likes than a cute cat video? Talking about a real-life drama.
What do you think is the future for low-cost airlines like Spirit?
The future for low-cost airlines like Spirit is looking a little grim, like a bad haircut right before a family reunion. With their reputation taking more hits than a piñata at a birthday party, they might need to rethink their business model. Maybe they could pivot and start a new trend, like silent flights, where passengers are not only on time, but also blissfully unaware of any cancellations. Or perhaps they could adopt a new slogan, "Fly with us, or don't, we really don't care." In the world of budget flights, survival of the fittest is about to get a whole new meaning.
Do you think we will see more airline closures in the coming months?
If I had a crystal ball, I'd probably say yes, but instead I have the uncanny ability to predict trends based on the price of a cup of coffee. As energy costs soar and consumer patience dwindles, it's like watching a game of musical chairs, and right now the music is getting ready to stop. So yes, it's quite possible we'll see a few more airlines trying to squeeze their way through this turbulent sky. It's like a dramatic exit from a party where someone just yells, "I'm out!" while leaving a trail of broken dreams and lost luggage behind.
What advice do you have for travelers in light of this situation?
Advice? Well, if I didn't know any better, I'd say it's time for travelers to reframe their expectations. First, make friends with flexibility. It could be the best travel buddy you've ever had. Cancelled flights? Don't worry, just consider it an impromptu vacation at the airport. You can always check out that overpriced pretzel stand you've never noticed. And always, always, keep an emergency snack or two in your bag. Because nothing says prepared traveler like munching on stale granola while the world around you crumbles. Basically, buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy ride.
So, I hear Iraq has shipped 0 barrels of oil in April. Can you break down what that means for the economy?
Well, if Iraq were a chef, April would have been the month he accidentally set the kitchen on fire while trying to make toast. No oil means no shipments, which is like a restaurant running out of its main dish. Everyone's sitting at the table, starving, and wondering why they bothered to make a reservation in the first place. Economically speaking, this is like a global wake-up call, or as I like to call it, the Great Oil Drought of 2023. Prices are probably doing their best impression of a roller coaster, while the rest of us are clutching our wallets and praying we don't fall off.
What are the potential global impacts of this oil export crisis?
Global impacts. It's like a game of dominoes, but instead of colorful pieces, we have economies crashing down one after another. If Iraq isn't spilling oil like a toddler with a juice box, that means global supply chains are about to throw a tantrum. Think high gas prices, inflation that's itching to become a household name, and businesses sweating bullets like they just ran a marathon in a sauna. Pretty soon, we might all be riding bicycles to work or investing in horse-drawn carriages. Because, why not prepare for the world's slowest commute?
How does this affect ordinary people like you and me?
Ordinary people? Oh honey, this is like being in a band where everyone plays off-key, but now we all have to listen to the same bad note repeatedly. Gas prices rise, which means our precious weekend road trips might turn into, let's just stare longingly at the driveway events. And if you think that's bad, wait till you see prices at the grocery store start resembling the national debt. So, brace yourself for the exciting adventure of budgeting your way through life. It's like a financial survival game where the stakes are your sanity.
Could there be any silver linings in this situation?
The eternal quest for silver linings. It's like finding a penny in the couch cushions but realizing it's also covered in crumbs. One might argue this could spark a shift towards renewable energy, because let's face it, no one wants to be the guy still trying to light fires with sticks while the rest of the world is texting flames. Or maybe we can all start investing in those fancy electric cars everyone talks about. Nothing like being dubbed the co-warrior while stuck in traffic, right? Just try not to plug in your car when the grid's having a meltdown.
What should governments do now that this crisis has hit?
Governments should probably get their act together, which is a tall order equivalent to asking a cat to do the cha-cha. They need to diversify their energy sources faster than I can change my Netflix subscription. The last thing we want is for them to sit around, twiddling their thumbs like they're waiting for the next season of their favorite show. Let's see some investments in alternatives, or at least have a backup plan that doesn't involve just crossing fingers and hoping for the best.
Is there any hope for Iraq's oil export situation to improve soon?
Hope? Well, if hope were a currency, we'd be richer than Midas. Iraq's oil export situation is like a Netflix series, full of twists and turns, and sometimes it just seems like they're dragging it out for seasons too long. There's always a chance that, with some political maneuvering and a little bit of luck, they could be back on track. But until then, we're all just waiting for the next episode of Will They Ship Oil Again? Spoiler alert. It's going to be a cliffhanger.
So, Google and Apple are censoring images of key Kuwaiti airbases amid the Iran conflict. Can you give us the scoop on that?
Yes. The tech titans have decided that satellite imagery of airbases is too spicy for our delicate sensibilities. I mean, who doesn't want to avoid the awkward moment of zooming into a military base and inadvertently starting an international incident? It's like ordering a salad but being served a steak. We just can't handle that level of intensity. And let's be honest, nothing says, I trust my tech, quite like a blurry image of a military installation. Maybe they're just looking out for our mental health, saving us from the trauma of realizing that Google Earth is just a glorified version of playing peekaboo with the Pentagon.
What does it mean for the tech companies to be censoring these images specifically in Kuwait?
Censoring these images is like putting a do not enter sign on a candy shop when you're trying to keep kids away from sugar. It sends the message that there's something really juicy behind those blurred pixels. It's a little late for a game of guess what's hiding under this digital fog, considering airbases are kind of supposed to be visible. But hey, At least we can rest easy knowing that Uncle Sam isn't losing his marbles, or his air bases. In the process, it's like turning the lights off during a power outage. Sure, we might not see the chaos, but we're still trying to navigate our way through it while bumping into furniture.
How is it that other bases, like Camp Buering, remain untouched by this censorship?
Ah, Camp Buering, the base that's apparently too cool for school. It's like that friend who can get away with breaking all the rules, while the rest of us are stuck in the no-fun corner. Maybe there's an invisible barrier around Camp Buering that screams, "I'm too hip for censorship." Or perhaps they just haven't gotten around to the blur the base memo. It's like finding out you're the only one in the group chat not invited to the party. You're standing outside wondering if there's a secret handshake you weren't told about. But hey, let's hope the folks at Camp Buering are still enjoying their top-notch views for now.
Why do you think this censorship is only impacting certain US satellite providers?
Well, it's like an exclusive VIP club for satellite imagery. Only the in-crowd of companies get to join the censorship party, while others are left outside, noses pressed against the glass, wondering what the fuss is all about. Maybe Google and Apple are just trying to keep their customers safe from an overload of military excitement. I mean, who wants to see the dramatic saga of Operation Zoom and Blur unfold right on their screens? It's much easier to just let people feast on cute cat videos instead of actual warfare. After all, nothing says American innovation quite like glossing over reality with a shiny blur.
What could be the potential implications of this kind of censorship?
Oh, this could open up a whole new can of worms, or should I say a can of blurred images. Censorship often leads to speculation like a cat chasing a laser pointer, darting around without any real direction. On one hand, it could protect sensitive information and keep our international friend fighting to a minimum. On the other hand, it might just create a bunch of conspiracy theories about what's really going on behind those fuzzy pixels. You know, like an episode of a reality TV show where no one can figure out who's the villain and who's just trying to sell lemonade on a street corner. So, grab your popcorn and get ready for a wild ride, 'cause with this level of secrecy, we might just see the birth of the next big Netflix drama.
Do you think the public should be worried about this trend of censorship in tech?
Oh, absolutely. It's like that feeling you get when a friend suddenly starts deleting all their social media posts. You can't help but wonder what kind of skeletons are hiding in the closet. While censorship might be wrapped up in a shiny bow of national security, it also raises questions about transparency. What else are they hiding? Do they think we're too fragile to handle the truth? It's like being told there's broccoli in your favorite dish. Nobody wants to know. So, while we should all enjoy the safety of our digital bubble, let's just hope it doesn't turn into a bubble bath with too many hidden agendas floating around. Because nobody wants to slip on the truth when it pops.
So, I hear Ukrainian birds just obliterated some enemy helicopters a shocking 150 kilometers behind enemy lines. Is this some sort of new avian military strategy?
Absolutely. Who knew that the key to modern warfare was a flock of fearless feathered friends? Forget about tanks and missiles. Next up, we'll have Operation Birdwatch, where they just swoop in and take care of business while performing the latest dance moves from TikTok. I mean, if birds can take down helicopters, maybe we need to rethink our entire approach to national defense. So, when's the last time you saw a tank take off? Exactly, it's all about the aerial acrobatics now.
What can you tell us about the operation itself? What went down?
Well, imagine a bunch of tiny, but incredibly brave Ukrainian birds. Think sparrows with the heart of a lion, swooping in on some Russian helicopters like they're the new aerial delivery service. The operation was so sneaky, it might as well have had a secret name like Operation Feathers of Fury. And just when those helicopters thought they could catch a break during a fuel refill, boom! They're getting more than just gas. One helicopter technician literally met his doom via drone eye roll. Talk about drone watching, gone very wrong.
What's the significance of hitting helicopters that far behind enemy lines?
Oh, it's like the bird version of a surprise birthday party, but instead of cake, you get a missile. Happy birthday indeed. Striking 150 kilometers behind enemy lines is a clear message. We're not just nesting. We're on a full-on avian bombing spree. It's not just a tactical move. It's like walking into the enemy's backyard and reminding them why they should really consider moving to a less contested zip code. Next, I expect to see Ukrainian pigeons delivering cease and desist letters. Consider it a friendly neighborhood reminder from your local birds.
What do you think the response will be from the enemy side after this operation?
Oh, they're probably scrambling like they just spilled coffee on their lap. I mean, who would have thought that their high-tech helicopters could be brought down by nature's aerial ninjas? I can just hear their generals now. Can someone explain how two birds with questionable flight paths took out our fleet? Quick, we need a flock of counterbirds. Honestly, it's going to be a flurry of confusion and maybe some urgent meetings over a nice cup of what the heck just happened.
What are the broader implications of such drone warfare tactics in armed conflicts?
If this continues, we might as well start drafting a new military manual titled, How to Lose a War to Birds 101. Seriously, the implications are huge. Soon enough, we'll have armies equipped with bird feeders instead of artillery. Just imagine the training. How to train a drone bird to drop munitions while dodging enemy fire and still find its way back home for supper. It's a game changer, turning the tables on who really controls the skies. Next up, birdwatchers might become the new military strategists, and we'll all be asking, "Did you see that dove? It's got a degree from MIT."
So what's next for this kind of warfare? Do you see more of these operations happening?
Oh, absolutely. This could become the next big trend in military operations. Forget drones. We'll start recruiting birds with combat training. I can already picture the recruitment ads. Join the Air Force, where the skies are your playground, and the enemy is just your next snack. Watch out, world. If they figure out how to coordinate in flocks, we're doomed. Who needs traditional tactics when you can just have a bird parade wreaking havoc? Tinfoil hats will be back in style, trust me.
So, interesting news from Gaza, where a couple held a unique wedding using a decorated construction lift. What's your take on that?
Ah, nothing says happily ever after, quite like saying I do while cruising through a landscape that looks like it just survived an apocalyptic game of Jenga. I mean, forget the horse-drawn carriages or those fancy vintage cars. Why not roll up to the altar in a construction lift? It's like trading a bouquet for a hard hat, practical and romantic at the same time. Who needs flowers when you have cranes?
What do you think inspired them to choose such an unconventional method for their wedding?
Well, when your surroundings resemble a scene from Mad Max, I'd say traditional just went out the window faster than my last diet. Honestly, maybe they took a look at all that rubble and thought, hey, we could either wait for a venue to open up, or we could make our own way, literally. It's like they transformed a disaster into their own personal love story. Who needs a backdrop of roses when you have the beauty of construction equipment?
Do you think this could start a trend among couples in similar situations?
Oh, absolutely. Why go for the boring old white wedding when you can have a crane-themed extravaganza? I can already see it now. Couples across conflict zones ditching the chapel for the nearest construction site. Maybe we'll even see the rise of lift weddings worldwide. How romantic! Nothing says love like a significant other hoisting you up several feet off the ground while dodging debris. It'll be the new Pinterest phenomenon. Lift your spirits, lift your partner.
Is there a deeper message behind this couple's choice of venue amidst such destruction?
Definitely. It's like they're saying, love conquers all, even if all looks like a blown-up Lego set. While most people would be planning an escape route, they decided to throw caution to the wind and celebrate life right there in the chaos. It's a beautifully tragic reminder that even in the toughest times, love can still climb to new heights, just hopefully not literally off the edge of a construction lift.
What would you say is the most unusual aspect of this story?
The sheer audacity of it all, I think. I mean, who needs a fancy venue or gourmet catering when you can have a construction lift with a side of public debris? It's the ultimate statement piece. Picture it. Guests holding their little plastic cups of punch, trying not to trip over rubble while cheering them on. It's like if a wedding planner and a demolition crew had a love child. Talk about a unique marriage of chaos and ceremony.
So Kuwait has decided to halt crude oil exports for the first time since Gulf War III. What's going on there?
Ah, yes. Kuwait has thrown a wrench into the gears of the global oil machine, like a cat knocking over a glass of water. It's a bold move, really. You know, it's as if they woke up one day and thought, hey, let's give the world a little curveball and see how they deal without our liquid gold. I mean, why export oil when you can just sit on it? It's like having a treasure chest full of gold and deciding to store it in your attic. Perfectly logical, right? So now they're just playing it cool, refining their oil like someone making artisanal donuts. But everyone is just sitting there like, excuse me, where's the glaze?
What does this mean for the global oil market?
Oh, it's the equivalent of your friend suddenly deciding to host a dinner party but announcing that there will be no food, just drinks. The global oil market is now staring into the abyss, wondering if it should bring its own snacks or just pray for delivery. It's going to have a wild time trying to figure out how to fill that gaping hole left by Kuwait, which is kind of like trying to replace the star player on a soccer team with a cat. Sure, it might be cute, but it's definitely not scoring any goals. Expect prices to jump higher than my blood pressure when I see my bank statement.
Is Kuwait still producing oil despite the halt in exports?
Yes, indeed. It's like they've decided to keep the oil flowing, but put a do not disturb sign on their export door. They're still cranking out that black gold like a barista on a caffeine high, but now it's all about storage and refining. They might even be thinking, why share our toys with the other kids when we can play with them ourselves? I mean, they could open an exclusive oil spa. Come in for a treatment and leave with a refined product. It's a fun twist on the usual trade routes, and at this rate, they might as well start charging admission.
How do you think other oil-producing countries will react to this?
Well, they'd probably be furiously dialing their stockbrokers while clutching their pearls, wondering if they need to issue a global oil code red. Picture it. A group of them huddled around a table, like a bunch of worried parents at a PTA meeting, trying to figure out how to keep their little oil economies afloat. Some might start whispering sweet nothings to their own reserves, while others will be looking for those desperate measures plans they drew up in case of an oil apocalypse. It's like competitive anxiety on steroids. Just add a dash of panic, and you've got yourself a recipe for some wild market fluctuations.
What could this mean for the price of oil?
Oh, you can bet your bottom dollar that prices will start doing flips and cartwheels. More dramatic than a soap opera season finale. It'll be like watching your favorite stock crash and burn, but in slow motion, it's heartbreaking. Expect the price of oil per barrel to shoot up faster than my friend trying to escape from a bad date. They might start selling it at prices that make you think you're buying liquid gold. At this point, you might as well start asking your neighbor for an oil loan. Hey buddy, can you spot me a barrel until payday? The market's going to be a wild ride.
Could this halt be related to any environmental considerations?
You bet your eco-conscious heart it could. Kuwait might be thinking, maybe we should consider saving the planet instead of just drilling it into the ground. It's like a light bulb moment, or perhaps they've suddenly decided that a little less carbon in the atmosphere is a good thing. Kind of like going on a diet after realizing you've been binge-eating donuts for too long. Hard, but necessary. So maybe they're embracing their inner tree huggers. Or it could just be a very clever ploy to seem trendy. Whatever the case, it definitely spices up the oil narrative.
It seems Ukrainian forces have taken out some Russian Su-57 and Su-34 fighters from 7,700 kilometers away. Could you provide some insights on this dramatic turn of events?
Well. It appears that Ukraine is launching more than just heartfelt memes on social media. They're now playing a high-stakes game of aerial whack-a-mole with Russian jets. Can you imagine the Russians waking up to find their expensive toys being taken down from the cozy distance of 1,700 kilometers? It's like someone decided to throw a party at your house while you're still in bed, completely clueless and utterly unprepared. I mean, who knew that Ukrainian drones were not just spouting smoke and bad puns, but actually could drop a bomb and collect some serious jet trophies? Talk about a plot twist worthy of a Netflix series.
What do you think are the implications of these attacks on Russian military capabilities?
The implications. It's like asking a toddler what happens when you take away their candy. There's bound to be some crying. Seriously though, when you take out high-tech fighters like the Su-57 and Su-34, you're basically telling Russia, hey, that fancy military tech you've been bragging about? Yeah, not so fancy anymore. It's like rolling up to a Lamborghini with a bicycle and saying, race me. This could lead to a few sleepless nights for the Kremlin as they frantically scribble down a new strategy, or, even worse, hire a whole new team of creative military planners. Meanwhile, Ukraine scores some serious peer points. It's like winning Best Picture at the Oscars, but in the realm of air superiority.
How do you think this event will affect the morale of both sides involved?
Well, morale in war is like trying to keep a goldfish alive in a bowl of jelly. Tricky at best. For Ukraine, this is like a victory lap at the Olympics, where they get to wave their flags and blow air horns. They probably feel like they just hit the jackpot at a carnival game. For Russia, however, it might feel like they just tripped over their own shoelaces while trying to show off a new dance move. Nobody wants to be that person, especially when your military prowess is supposed to be the talk of the town. You can bet the Kremlin is scrambling to retain any semblance of bravado. And on the flip side, Ukrainian forces are likely riding high on caffeine and adrenaline, patting each other on the backs like they've just won the lottery.
What might be the next steps for Ukraine following this incident?
Oh, the next steps. It's like watching a chess game where the pieces are flying off the board. I'd wager Ukraine is already plotting their next move, like a master strategist who's just discovered the checkmate button on their game console. They could ramp up their drone technology to become the latest sensation out there, like the Harry Potter of military advancements. Everybody wants to get their hands on that invisibility cloak of stealth. Or they might put their focus on international diplomacy, making calls like the world's most polite telemarketer. Hi there, would you like to contribute to our defense fund? Either way, the ball is in their court, and you can bet they'll be serving it with a side of flair and a sprinkle of sass.
What does this say about the overall state of military technology and its effectiveness in modern warfare?
Oh, darling, we've entered an era where military tech is more complex than rocket science. Literally, and here we are, watching drones become the darlings of the battlefield. It's a bit like when smartphones first came out, and suddenly everyone realized you could order a pizza while in the middle of a serious conversation. From drone warfare to AI targeting systems, we've got gadgets doing more work than a caffeinated intern at a startup. Now, countries are investing in tech like they're shopping for the latest iPhone. Gotta have the newest model with all the bells and whistles. So, military technology is not just evolving. It's doing so at a pace that makes my grandma with her bingo cards look like a racing car driver. The effectiveness of these tools is becoming clearer every day, and the playbook for modern warfare is practically being rewritten in real time.
Any final thoughts on how this incident might influence future geopolitical dynamics?
Oh, just a tiny little question, huh? Well, my friend, this incident could stir the geopolitical pot like a chef with a heavy hand. When nations realize that aerial superiority is no longer about just throwing money at flashy jets, but about utilizing technology in smart and innovative ways, we might see a new arms race brewing. Countries might start investing in drones like they're the next hot stock on Wall Street. And let's not forget the allies. Suddenly, everyone will want to cozy up to Ukraine, like it's the hottest new club in town, offering bottle service and all. In short, if this incident doesn't raise eyebrows and set off alarms in global capitals, then what will? Buckle up, everyone, because what we're seeing now is just the beginning of a roller coaster ride through international relations that could end up being more tangled than my headphones.
So, it seems like Ukraine is really stepping up its game with these drone attacks on Russian oil facilities. What can you tell us about that?
Well, if there was an Olympics for drone attacks, Ukraine would definitely be taking home the gold, silver, and possibly the entire podium at this point. I mean, who knew that turning oil facilities into massive fire pits would be a competitive sport? It's like playing a game of who can ruin the environment faster, and Ukraine just hit the big leagues. But seriously, now we have two apps, once famous for its beautiful oil rigs, now being heralded as the land of smokes and oil stains. Not exactly the beach vacation everyone wants to book, right?
What are the ecological implications of having so much oil spilling into the Black Sea?
Oh, just the usual doomsday scenario. It's like hosting a frat party, but forgetting to tell everyone the keg is actually a giant vat of crude oil. So while the locals are trying to douse fires, the oil slick is having a party of its own in the Black Sea. The fish are probably holding their noses and calling in sick, and let's be real. The only thing worse than being on the receiving end of a drone strike is being a fish trying to swim through a banquet of spilled oil. It's going to take years for the sea life to recover, if they ever do. Great job, guys!
How are the local Russian officials responding to these attacks?
Oh, they're on it like a dog on a bone. They're launching a major operation to put out the fires, which totally sounds like an action movie plot, but sadly, no stunt doubles here. I can just see them in their fancy command room, pointing at maps and shouting orders like they're in a real-time strategy game. Meanwhile, everyone else is watching the flames like it's a live stream of the world's biggest candle sale gone wrong. And let's not forget, no casualties reported. It's almost like they're more worried about the oil than the people, but I guess when your life revolves around burning fossil fuels, it's hard to prioritize.
What do these attacks signify for the larger military strategy between Ukraine and Russia.
It's like watching a game of chess, where one side is playing with a standard set, and the other side is using pieces from checkers and Monopoly. Ukraine seems to be saying, "Hey Russia, you thought you could just sit on your mountain of energy reserves and laugh? Surprise! Time to shake things up." This is their way of cutting off the enemy's resources while making a loud statement. It's like a toddler throwing a tantrum in a toy store, effective in getting attention, but you're left wondering how long the parents will be able to manage the chaos.
What does this mean for the energy market and global oil prices?
Ah, the exciting world of oil prices. Buckle up, folks, because it's about to feel like a roller coaster designed by a caffeinated squirrel. With all this oil burning and spilling, it's like a reality show episode titled, "Who Needs Oil Anyway?" And the market is definitely not ready for the plot twists. Analysts are probably having panic attacks as they try to predict prices, while their coffee cups are overflowing from the stress. In short, expect oil prices to go up, down, and all around, kind of like a toddler on a sugar rush.
Is there any hope for a quick resolution to the environmental disaster in Tuapse?
Hope? Oh sure, it's like hoping my plants will survive a month-long drought. Local officials will have to pull off some miraculous feats in cleanup, but we know how that goes. "We're working hard" translates to, "we'll probably get to it in a week or two." So while they may be fighting to put out the flames, Mother Nature is shaking her head, rolling her eyes, and preparing for a Nature's Revenge sequel. Spoiler alert, it's going to be messy.
So, we've got a catastrophic oil fire in Russia's Tuapse that's left toxic waste all over this popular tourist city. What's the deal with that?
Well, nothing says "welcome to our beautiful seaside getaway" quite like a thick blanket of toxic sludge, right? I mean, if you wanted to soak up some sun while dodging hazardous waste, why not pick a beach where the water tastes like olive oil and the air smells like a barbecue gone wrong? And the fun part? Volunteers are out there cleaning it up like it's a beach party gone out of control. Because nothing brings out the community spirit like a little bit of hazardous waste management.
What are the implications of this disaster for the local tourism industry?
Oh, I'd say they're as dire as trying to sell ice to an Eskimo. Tourists flock to Tuapse for its beautiful beaches, not to experience the joys of sludge surfing. I can just see the brochures now. "Come enjoy our stunning toxic vistas." If they keep this up, the only tourists they'll attract are thrill seekers looking for an oil slick adventure. For that authentic Nature's Revenge experience. Who needs theme parks when you can have hazardous waste tours?
How do you think the local government is handling the situation?
Well, I imagine they're doing an impression of a chicken with its head cut off. Lots of flapping and very little direction. They'd probably love to just hit the rewind button and pretend this whole thing didn't happen. Meanwhile, they're dispatching volunteers like it's a fun weekend cleanup project, rather than a hazardous materials crisis. I mean, don't you just love how local governments can turn a major disaster into a community bonding experience? Because nothing bonds people together quite like cleaning up toxic waste together.
Is there a chance this kind of disaster could happen again in the future?
Oh sure, this is Russia we're talking about. If the oil companies were any better at managing their stuff, they'd be running successful Tupperware parties instead. With their track record, the next catastrophic oil fire is probably already being plotted as we speak. Just imagine, next summer, they might have a firework display that's slightly less about exploding rockets and more about exploding oil barrels. So yes, a real potential for a sequel here, folks.
What's the silver lining in all of this chaos?
Ah yes, the silver lining. like finding a quarter in the couch cushions after a wild party. You know, it's kind of heartwarming to see the community come together, donned in hazmat suits instead of party hats. It's creating a lovely scene where everyone's bonding over shared toxicity, like a real-life soap opera. And who knows, maybe they'll start a new eco-tourism initiative. Experience the thrills of toxic cleanup. Comes with complimentary face masks and a very clear warning not to eat the local seafood.
What do you think the rest of the world can learn from this incident?
Well, for starters, the world can learn that maybe putting all your oil in one basket isn't the greatest plan, unless that basket is a big, sturdy trash can, I suppose. This disaster serves as a sparkling reminder that environmental disasters are like that friend who always shows up uninvited. You might think you can avoid them, but they always find a way to crash the party. So maybe, just maybe, we should consider investing in some safety measures before we end up playing dodgeball with hazardous waste on our beloved beaches.
So, Germany's military plans for 2035 really seem to be taking a dramatic turn with these new divisions and advanced strike forces. What's your take on this?
Well, it looks like Germany is going for the bigger is better approach, as if they're trying to turn their army into a real-life version of a Transformers movie. I mean, why settle for a cozy little defense force when you can have a military that sounds like a recipe for an international action blockbuster? With a projected 151,000 troops, I can only imagine them thinking, why not add a few more layers of complexity to an already convoluted defense strategy? Forget just camping out and keeping the peace. They're now gearing up for something that sounds suspiciously like a heavy-duty family reunion gone wrong.
They mentioned a shift to heavy divisions instead of those old lightweight units. Is this a smart move or just a show of muscle?
Oh, it's definitely a muscle flex, much like that guy at the gym who thinks that slapping on 10 more plates will somehow impress everyone. Sure, heavier units might say, look at us, we're packing a punch, but I can't help but wonder if they're really just adding more baggage to their military travel plans. It's like going from a compact car to a full-on RV when all you needed was a smart little sedan to get you from point A to B. But hey, who can resist the charm of a military parade featuring more tanks than the Autobahn has speedsters?
What do you think about the new brigades they're planning to introduce, like the Reconnaissance Assault Brigade?
Ah, the Reconnaissance Assault Brigade. It sounds like the military's answer to an intelligence agency that got tired of playing hide-and-seek. Just imagine the paperwork they'll have to file when they send these units out on stealth missions. Probably filled with more disclaimers than a Netflix agreement. Creating this brigade is smart in theory. It's like adding an espresso shot to your coffee. Sure, you're awake and alert, but now you're jittery and may end up knocking over something valuable. Who knows? Maybe they'll finally find those missing socks from the laundry with all this additional reconnaissance.
There seems to be a lot of new units being formed as well. Is this just an attempt to modernize or something else?
Oh, absolutely. It's like they went to the military IKEA and decided their current setup just wasn't cutting it. Sure, we love our flat-pack furniture, but what if we had some modular warfare units, a new how-to manual on heavy artillery, and a side of drone technology? But let's be honest, is anyone ever truly prepared for the sheer chaos that comes with adding units? It's like inviting more guests to a party but forgetting to order extra pizza. Next thing you know, they're all looking for places to crash and rant about why they should be the ones in charge.
What can you say about that multi-domain, long-range strike force they're establishing?
Oh, you mean the Long Range Strike Force? Sounds like a military dating app for firepower. where every missile promises to go the distance. I can just picture them in meetings now, throwing around buzzwords like synergy and strategic innovation, while trying to figure out how to launch weapons that can reach 2,500 kilometers without breaking a sweat. At this rate, they might as well be offering a frequent flyer program for their projectiles. And is it just me, or does it feel like they're preparing for some sort of global game of battleship? "You sunk my battleship" would really take on a whole new meaning.
Lastly, do you think this aggressive restructuring of the German military is a response to current global tensions?
Oh, you bet your marching boots it is. It feels like they're looking at the world stage and saying, "Hold my beer." It's like that one friend at the bar who sees a fight brewing and thinks, "I'll show them who's boss." You know, clearly compensating for something with all this heavy armor and advanced technology. But instead of just taking a moment to breathe and reconsider, they're diving in head first, like it's some extreme sport. Meanwhile, the rest of us are left wondering if we signed up for a military alliance or a reality show where the last one standing gets the ultimate prize of world peace.
So we just heard about a skydiver in Israel who had a bit of an oops moment and got tangled in some power lines. What's your take on this bizarre freefall fiasco?
Ah, yes, the classic "I wanted to feel the wind in my hair, not the static shock of electricity" routine. You see, this guy thought he was going for a leisurely plummet, when boom, he ends up auditioning for a role in aerial acrobatics gone wrong. Who needs a thrill ride when you can dive straight into a power line? It's like ordering a salad and getting a side of broken dreams instead. Thankfully, the rescue team was on point, like a superhero squad. But let's be real, folks. Next time, maybe check the flight plan. Or at least steer clear of the electric jungle.
What do you think led to this skydiver's unfortunate descent into the world of power lines?
Well, probably an overzealous desire for adventure mixed with a complete disregard for geography. I mean, when you're 50, you should probably be asking yourself, is this the new age version of midlife crisis or just bad decision making? It's like deciding to go for a swim in a shark tank because you're tired of normal pools. Maybe he thought, why not spice it up with a little electrical drama? And boy, did he deliver. It's like trying to catch the wind and ending up with a face full of voltage. Power lines are not the final destination on the skydiver's bucket list, that's for sure.
How did the rescue team handle this high voltage situation?
Oh, they were just fantastic. You can almost picture them strutting in, like they were the stars of an action movie, complete with heroic music playing in the background. They cut off the power like it was a bad haircut. And then it was time to lower Mr. I just wanted to fly down from his unexpected hangout spot. I mean, it's not every day you pluck someone from an electrical web and gently remind them that skydiving doesn't mean becoming a human kite. It's like being woken up from a nap in the middle of a terrible dream. And they were like, "Don't worry, buddy, we've all had our close encounters with electricity, haven't we?"
What does this incident say about the safety measures in extreme sports?
Oh boy, where do we even start? It's like riding a roller coaster and deciding to unbuckle your seatbelt mid-loop. Definitely not the moves of a safety-savvy individual. This skydiver's little escapade is a reminder that reading the instructions is not just a suggestion. It's like, hey, maybe double-check where you're jumping, or at least do a quick Google search on nearby power lines. Safety measures in extreme sports are like that grandma who keeps reminding you to wear a helmet while riding a bike. Annoying, but ultimately wise. So, if you're planning to jump out of a plane, just remember, check your parachute, and for the love of all things adventurous, avoid taking the scenic route through a power grid.
What are the takeaways from this near electric shock experience?
Well, first off, never underestimate the power of gravity, or in this case, the power of electricity. It's a great time to sit down and have a conversation with our pals about planning. Like, can we agree that knowing how to navigate the sky should come with a map? And while we're at it, how about we avoid power lines, like they're an X at a party? This incident serves as a fantastic reminder that life is full of surprises, and sometimes those surprises come with a side of unexpected voltage. So let's promote some education in extreme sports, folks. Who knew zipping through the skies could turn into a new form of aerial bingo?
Any final thoughts on the future of skydiving after this incident?
Well, I'd say the future of skydiving could use a little less oops and a little more oops, I did it again. Let's hope this guy becomes a poster child for caution. If there's anything to take away, it's that skydiving should be about freedom and adventure, not an impromptu meet and greet with your local power lines. Keep the thrill alive. But maybe just aim for the open fields next time, alright? It's like playing dodgeball. You want to avoid the hard objects, not embrace them. So, here's hoping for more sky grace and a lot less electrical interference in future jumps.
So, we just heard about this heroic father in Bangladesh who jumped in front of a train to save his son and walked away with minor injuries. What are your thoughts on such a courageous act?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, who needs a superhero movie when you have a dad who's willing to audition for one in real life? This guy clearly thought, why just have a family dinner when I can perform a one-man show on the tracks? I mean, it's not every day you see someone transforming into a human shield. His son must think he's got the coolest dad. He just saved him from a train. It's like living in an action movie, but with fewer explosions and more questionable life choices.
What do you think motivated this father to take such a dangerous risk?
Ah, love, that timeless classic motivator. Nothing says I care like jumping in front of a speeding metal box on wheels. I mean, I can just picture this guy calculating the odds like he's playing a game of extreme chess. If I move here, I totally save Junior. But I might end up with a few new dents myself. It's that inspirational dad reflex kicking in, where logic takes a back seat to adrenaline and unconditional love. Maybe he thought, if I survive this, I deserve a medal, or at least a really big piece of cake.
What do you think this says about parental instinct in extreme situations?
Well, it says quite a lot. Apparently, when the chips are down, like being run over by a freight train down, parents can flip into superhero mode faster than you can say, "Where's my wallet?" It's like they're living in some superhero comic strip where the dad card grants them super strength and the ability to ignore all basic survival instincts. It almost makes me wonder if he was secretly trained by a bunch of karate masters or just really didn't want to buy his kid a new toy after a potential tragedy.
In these moments of crisis, how do you think the public reacts to stories like this?
Oh, the public gobbles it up like it's the last slice of pizza at a party. You know, with a complete reverence that only comes from watching too many heroic TV shows. Everyone loves a good dad saves the day story. It's like a Hallmark movie, but with more danger and less awkward family reunions. Suddenly, everyone's calling him a hero, posting memes, and probably even planning a crowd-funded statue in his honor. And let's be honest, if this guy doesn't get a Netflix documentary soon, what are we even doing?
Do you think this kind of behavior sets a standard for what we consider a hero these days?
Absolutely. We've turned the term hero into a bit of a buffet lately. First, it was firemen and soldiers, and now it's dads jumping in front of trains. What's next? Toddlers rescuing kittens from trees. If that's the new standard, I'm just concerned about how my own parenting skills stack up. Am I supposed to now leap between my kid and a speeding train just to keep up? Maybe I should just focus on making them dinner without burning the house down? That feels much more achievable.
What's your take on the media coverage around such heroic acts? Does it help or hinder the perception of safety?
Media coverage. The ever-helpful magnifying glass on drama. It's like they see a story like this and think, let's crank this up to 11, and make sure everyone knows that trains are out to get you. On one hand, it raises awareness about dangerous situations, but on the other, it might have parents hyperventilating at the idea of their kids even stepping near a train station. It's like the media is a roller coaster operator. Plenty of thrills, but also a side order of nausea. I can picture everyone reading this story and deciding to bubble wrap their kids until they're 18.
So Kuwait has decided to halt crude oil exports for the first time since Gulf War III. What's going on there?
Yes. Kuwait has thrown a wrench into the gears of the global oil machine, like a cat knocking over a glass of water. It's a bold move, really. You know, it's as if they woke up one day and thought, hey, let's give the world a little curveball and see how they deal without our liquid gold. I mean, why export oil when you can just sit on it? It's like having a treasure chest full of gold and deciding to host a dinner party but announcing that there will be no food, just drinks. The global oil market is now staring into the abyss, wondering if it should bring its own snacks or just pray for delivery. It's going to have a wild time trying to figure out how to fill that gaping hole left by Kuwait, which is kind of like trying to replace the star player on a soccer team with a cat. Sure, it might be cute, but it's definitely not scoring any goals. Expect prices to jump higher than my blood pressure when I see my bank statement.
Is Kuwait still producing oil despite the halt in exports?
Yes, indeed. It's like they've decided to keep the oil flowing, but put a do not disturb sign on their export door. They're still cranking out that black gold like a barista on a caffeine high, but now it's all about storage and refining. They might even be thinking, why share our toys with the other kids when we can play with them ourselves? I mean, they could open an exclusive oil spa, come in for a treatment, and leave with a refined product. It's a fun twist on the usual trade routes, and at this rate, they might as well start charging admission.
How do you think other oil-producing countries will react to this?
Well, they'd probably be furiously dialing their stockbrokers while clutching their pearls, wondering if they need to issue a global oil code red. Picture it. A group of them huddled around a table, like a bunch of worried parents at a PTA meeting, trying to figure out how to keep their little oil economies afloat. Some might start whispering sweet nothings to their own reserves, while others will be looking for those desperate measures plans they drew up in case of an oil apocalypse. It's like competitive anxiety on steroids. Just add a dash of panic, and you've got yourself a recipe for some wild market fluctuations.
What could this mean for the price of oil?
Oh, you can bet your bottom dollar that prices will start doing flips and cartwheels. More dramatic than a soap opera season finale. It'll be like watching your favorite stock crash and burn, but in slow motion. It's heartbreaking. Expect the price of oil per barrel to shoot up faster than my friend trying to escape from a bad date. They might start selling it at prices that make you think you're buying liquid gold. At this point, you might as well start asking your neighbor for an oil loan. Hey buddy, can you spot me a barrel until payday? The market's going to be a wild ride.
Could this halt be related to any environmental considerations?
You bet your eco-conscious heart it could. Kuwait might be thinking, maybe we should consider saving the planet instead of just drilling it into the ground. It's like a light bulb moment, or perhaps they've suddenly decided that a little less carbon in the atmosphere is a good thing. Kind of like going on a diet after realizing you've been binge-eating donuts for too long. Hard, but necessary. So maybe they're embracing their inner tree huggers. Or it could just be a very clever ploy to seem trendy. Whatever the case, it definitely spices up the oil narrative.
So, we just heard that Myanmar's military is making some strategic advances. What's the scoop on these recent developments in Chin State and the captured towns?
Oh, just your regular Tuesday in Myanmar where the military is playing Monopoly with real-life towns. They've rolled the dice and decided to land Phalam, which, let me tell you, is not the cozy little spot you'd want to retire in. It's like they grabbed their advance to go card and said, "Hey, let's mess with some lives." You'd think they'd at least ask for directions first, instead of blindly bulldozing their way through like a toddler in a toy store.
Is it true they managed to break through the encirclements of Hatigyayang and Katha? How does that play into the larger picture?
Absolutely. It's a bit like breaking out of a family board game night. Everyone's huddled up trying to keep you in check, but you're just like, "Nah, I'm going to start my own game over here." Their plan seems to be taking advantage of the chaos like a kid at a buffet, grabbing everything they can. Honestly, the way they're capturing towns, you'd think they were gearing up for an episode of Survivor, Military Edition, instead of doing actual governance. Who knew town capturing could become a hobby?
What do you think this means for the people living in those towns? Is there any relief in sight?
Well, if you ever wanted a masterclass in political irony, just look at the people of Chin State. It's the perfect storm of uncertainty wrapped in a bow of "better buckle up, folks." They're probably feeling like that one friend who only shows up at the party when there's free food. Nobody's really sure if it's a blessing or a curse. And as for relief, let's just say they might be better off hoping for a miracle than counting on any military strategy resembling a benevolent fairy tale.
Could this escalation lead to an increased international response? Or is that just wishful thinking?
Oh, international response, you say? That's like wishing for snow in July. Sure, there might be some clucking on social media and a few sternly worded tweets to make everyone feel better, but let's not hold our breath for actual action. It's like trying to get a cat to take a bath. Lots of fuss, very little progress. Meanwhile, the military in Myanmar is probably sitting back, munching popcorn, and watching the world's reaction like it's their favorite Netflix series, Chaos in Southeast Asia. Spoiler alert, nobody's getting a happy ending.
In your opinion, what could be the potential long-term consequences of these military gains?
The long-term consequences. Let me pull out my crystal ball. If they keep this up, we might see Myanmar morph into the Wild West. You can expect a whole lot of unscripted drama, soap opera-level plot twists, and a dash of "who's got the biggest guns?" It could either spiral into a perpetual state of chaos, or eventually, a new order where everybody pretends to be happy, while secretly plotting their exit strategy. It's like a never-ending game of poker, where everyone's bluffing, and the stakes are the lives of innocent people. Who needs Netflix when you've got real-life horror stories unfolding?
How do you think this will impact the message of democracy and freedom in the region?
Oh, the message of democracy and freedom, you say? That's like sending a postcard from the Bermuda Triangle. Nobody's really getting it. The military's just out there with their take-no-prisoners approach, effectively throwing a party, while democracy checks its coat and leaves the building. The freedom is currently about as accessible as a VIP club with an overpriced cover charge. But hey, maybe they're just trying to redefine what democracy means. Democracy, where the military has an open bar and everyone else is stuck outside, wondering if they can sneak in.
So, it seems Antarctica has decided to up the ante this autumn by plunging to a frigid 60 degrees Celsius. What's going on down there?
Ah, yes, because nothing says welcome autumn. Quite like a polar ice cap making a dramatic entrance at 60 degrees Celsius. You know, it's almost like Antarctica is trying to win an award for most dedicated to chilling out. I can just picture it. Mother Nature, sitting back, sipping her hot cocoa, while Antarctica throws a snowball at the thermostat and yells, "Let's make this a record-breaking winter." Who needs global warming when you have Antarctica capable of hosting an icicle party that can freeze your eyebrows off?
What do you think people are feeling about these record-breaking temps in Antarctica?
Oh, I bet they're feeling fabulous. Nothing like a little weather chaos to spice things up, right? I mean, it's not every day you get to say, "Honey, let's go to Antarctica for the holidays." That's a sure way to ruin anyone's beach vacation plans. You're going to feel the burn of a sunburn in the Sahara compared to the crisp, icy embrace of a polar breeze that could shatter dreams and screens alike. Just imagine the penguins out there, huddled together, gossiping about how your average winter coat just doesn't cut it anymore.
What are some potential implications of such extreme weather in Antarctica?
Well, aside from giving climate scientists a reason to pull their hair out, this kind of extreme weather is like a dramatic soap opera that no one asked for. You've got everything from rising sea levels to icebergs that think they're auditioning for Dancing with the Stars. Let's not forget how it sends shivers down the spine of anyone who has ever tried to navigate a waterway that suddenly turns into an ice rink. Who knew ice fishing would become the go-to extreme sport for the brave and foolish alike?
Are there any silver linings to this frostbite-inducing news?
Well, if you squint your eyes and clutch your steaming mug tightly, you might just see a silver lining. Or maybe that's just frost forming on your cup. On the bright side, maybe those travel influencers finally have a reason to swap the Bahamas for Antarctic adventures. I can see the tweets now. Just fought off hypothermia for the gram? Totally worth it. And let's not overlook the scientists who probably have a field day with this. They get to don their best "I survived Antarctica" t-shirts while everyone else is hiding under blankets. Nothing like turning extreme weather into a badge of honor, right?
Do you think this weather is here to stay or just a passing phase?
Ah, yes, the classic question. It's like asking if that one relative will ever stop telling embarrassing stories at family gatherings. With the climate, it's more about whether we can keep the popcorn handy for when the next episode airs. I mean, just when you think it's safe to return to the beach, bam, the weather grabs you by the collar and says, "Not so fast." So, hold on to your hot cocoa, folks. This climate drama is far from a one-star show. It's a full-blown series with plot twists and cliffhangers more unpredictable than your uncle at Thanksgiving.
Any final thoughts on how we should react to this weather frenzy?
Well, if I've learned anything from watching nature's reality TV show, it's that we should probably invest in some heavy-duty thermal underwear and a good supply of hot chocolate. Embrace it, I say. Dive headfirst into those weather warnings like you're going into a pool of melted ice cream in July. Breathe it in and just hope for the best. After all, if life gives you 60 degrees Celsius, you might as well start a club. People who thought they could handle cold weather. Meetings held weekly, right next to the heaters.
So, interesting news from Gaza, where a couple held a unique wedding using a decorated construction lift. What's your take on that?
Ah, nothing says happily ever after, quite like saying "I do" while cruising through a landscape that looks like it just survived an apocalyptic game of Jenga. I mean, forget the horse-drawn carriages or those fancy vintage cars. Why not roll up to the altar in a construction lift? It's like trading a bouquet for a hard hat. practical and romantic at the same time. Who needs flowers when you have cranes?
What do you think inspired them to choose such an unconventional method for their wedding?
Well, when your surroundings resemble a scene from Mad Max, I'd say traditional just went out the window faster than my last diet. Honestly, maybe they took a look at all that rubble and thought, hey, we could either wait for a venue to open up, or we could make our own way, literally. It's like they transformed a disaster into their own personal love story. Who needs a backdrop of roses when you have the beauty of construction equipment?
Do you think this could start a trend among couples in similar situations?
Oh, absolutely. Why go for the boring old white wedding when you can have a crane-themed extravaganza? I can already see it now. Couples across conflict zones ditching the chapel for the nearest construction site. Maybe we'll even see the rise of lift weddings worldwide. How romantic! Nothing says love like a significant other hoisting you up several feet off the ground while dodging debris. It'll be the new Pinterest phenomenon. Lift your spirits, lift your partner.
Is there a deeper message behind this couple's choice of venue amidst such destruction?
Definitely. It's like they're saying, love conquers all, even if all looks like a blown-up Lego set. While most people would be planning an escape route, they decided to throw caution to the wind and celebrate life right there in the chaos. It's a beautifully tragic reminder that even in the toughest times, love can still climb to new heights, just hopefully not literally off the edge of a construction lift.
What would you say is the most unusual aspect of this story?
The sheer audacity of it all, I think. I mean, who needs a fancy venue or gourmet catering when you can have a construction lift with a side of public debris? It's the ultimate statement piece. Picture it. Guests holding their little plastic cups of punch, trying not to trip over rubble while cheering them on. It's like if a wedding planner and a demolition crew had a love child. Talk about a unique marriage of chaos and ceremony.